Moto 1 for the round... What round are we on? We're on round 8 now. What a world we're living in. Round 8 after a little break there from the MXGP season, but we're back to another beautifully scenic circuit here this week in the Uddevalla area in Sweden. So hopefully we can have ourselves a nice, interesting race. Some good... what's it called? Sorry, my brain is completely fried today for some reason. Some good elevation changes, that's the word I'm looking for. Wait, Libero Racing? We shall, he is here, he's in P8 currently according to that timing board. For now though, let's get these gates underway here very shortly. Looking to see some fantastic style points. We're going to add some pretend style points in the stream. I don't know what we're going to do for it, but there you go. We're going to work something out. So many Kaways, yeah boy, we got like 4 Kawasaki's running this race. A Honda in there with pump, and then we've also got obviously the trademark Husqvarnas and KTMs, and it looks like, I forgot to put names on, that's what it looked like. Looks like Cloud actually is going to be taking that whole shot just ahead of the rest of the field as we come through the first turn. Cloud leads the race, we've got Pump in P2 and Dimitri for P3. Probably they're having a nice time. Finn off to a good start, Reaper not so much, having a tough time on the Kawi there in the early stages. Hopefully we see him get back on the 2 wheels and get going once again. It's been a relatively carnage field start to the race here so far. Let's get in the old helicopter cam's not working at this particular moment, so we'll get back on the track cameras, ignore me. We'll get straight in with the racing. Looks like Steiner's off to a pretty decent storm here so far, roughly halfway through the field, but he's got a lot of traffic up in front of him. Pampikasu, of course, still leading here, up and on the Honda in front now, after it seems like Cloud has had some kind of issue down into P7 according to that timing board. We've got Dimitri then making his move around the outside, trying to get into that P1 spot, but Pump will take it back after Dimitri makes a mistake there as we come towards the end of our first lap here soon. Obviously only halfway around at the moment. But we are doing it very, very nicely here in Sweden. Over the very, very scrubby Valla jump, you're going to see some fantastic style points added later on in the race, I'm sure. Especially on those 450s where they really have to keep that bike low and maximise the drive on the way down the hill. Oh, Sanjic and Lansden just crossing lines there. An unfortunate situation. Just a slight misjudgment on the entry into the corner there. Dimitri and Tob having a fantastic race up here in the battle for P2 between the ETO Husqvarna and the TSCZ Husky just behind. Dimitri staying much, much lower, getting on the ground earlier, and you can see he's almost coming alongside Tob there. Checks up, though, over the single, and Tob just sends it on into the corner. Absolutely not a concern in the world, and he is flying as a result. Pampikasu, though, leading. 1.6 seconds is the gap there for the racing leader here at the moment on the Honda. Having a nice time. Battle for P2 still raging on. Willie there in P3. We've got Sam, Finn, Brovi, and Steiner, as well as Lipasek up here in a 5-bike battle in the battle for P4, I believe this is. I may be wrong, maybe the P5. Yeah, sorry, it is my bad. Obviously Will was in the P4 spot. Finn trying to find any opportunity here onto the back of Brovi for the moment. Looks like Sam's landed nicely there, got a decent drive up and over the wall jump. Finn just sending the life out of that Kawasaki. Absolutely no idea how the suspension took that. It looks like the other bike went down just up in front. Definitely not what he was looking to do there. Brovi and Finn and the rest of the pack take the position as a result. It looks like Dimitri and Tob have found their way past Pampikasu. Pump then potentially having some kind of issue here on the Honda in the early stages. Definitely need to pay a little bit more attention up to the leading pack. Whoa, over the bars goes Dimitri. That is one you just can't save. An absolute disaster. It took about as long as it could possibly take to go over the bars as well. Worst case scenario. Finn here just scrubbing his way into the background on the TSCZ Kawasaki behind. Try and make something stick here behind. He's found his way through that early lap traffic nice and quickly. We've got Reaper. Reaper had that early crash. He's back here with Larson at the minute. Both bikes off to a relatively tough start. Actually looks like Larson's P13, so I'm not entirely sure why it's showing Reaper down P20. I guess the old time boards just haven't updated just yet. It is what it is sometimes. Looking good here though for Pump as he takes the racing lead once again by the looks of things. Maybe the finish line does confirm that. So 1.6 seconds off the racing lead here at the moment. Dimitri then holding on to P3 and Finn still P4 under some severe pressure now from Steiner on the Ace Moto Kawi just behind. Battle of Kawis now then. It looks like Steiner had a bit of a case going into that final corner, so Finn's going to get the advantage back into this next lap. Did Cloud leave? He is not left just yet. He's still running. Hopefully we can see him start to climb up a little bit later on through the field. Of course, he was off to a rocketing start. And then he must have just had some kind of accident, potentially getting caught up in traffic, all sorts of stuff. And is not good at all. So hopefully we see him climb back up. There is still 26 minutes on the clock. And plenty of racing to go, I'm sure, here in the 250 class. Sam's off to a pretty decent run here. We've got Tonka to the outside there. Looks like Lipasek just up in front there in the yellow gear. Nice and easy to spot Lipo there on the AEO bike. Keeping himself nice and tidy, prepping himself for that left-hand corner. That's what we like to see. On Picasso down to P6 now. Had some other issue here on the Honda. Just struggling with that consistency here tonight. Again, he's got that good pace. Just struggling to keep that bike on two wheels. Sam just up in front. A similar issue there on the TSEZ Husqvarna so far. We'll see if these guys can settle in for the long run. Over the scrub hill we go. Absolutely love that Valor jump. It's very, very fun indeed. Down the inside for Picasso, around the outside of the left-hander, or the right-hander, sorry, my apologies. Back over the cross designs double. Almost collide. I think they did collide actually there. Picasso just about saving the Honda. Brovi closing in to capitalise on the mistake and try and punish it as quickly as he can here. He's not been able to get past just yet, but we may be able to see a little overtaking opportunity here. Dimitri having a bit of a mistake here too. Sam finds his way through then, past his TSCZ teammate. We've got Pump then. Oh, a little bit of contact with Brovi. He keeps it on two wheels though. Absolutely no idea how he's pulled that off. Finn here though, battling out with Tob in the battle for P1 up here at the front of the field as we jump, tripling our way into that inside corner once again. Step down the hill we go. Tob down to the inside, Finn down to the inside. Tob runs it wide and the Kawasaki's through. A nice move indeed then for Finn on that TSCZ Productions Kawasaki. Moves his way up and into P1 with 25 minutes on the clock. Here's one very, very happy red plate holder here at the moment. It appears I don't seem to have his gear this week, which is a bit of a shame, but there you go. That's what happens when you change his bike, say. Mars, much love, man, I appreciate you. Hopefully you're having a good time yourself. For the moment, though, Steiner's almost onto the back of Tob here. He's having a look down the inside on the other Kawasaki. The Ace Moto bike now starting to really push that ETO Husqvarna. Can he find his way through? Keeping that front wheel out of the bumps. Tob has a little bit of a shaky back end on the landing there. That's going to cost him just a fraction of a second. I apologise if you can hear the literal fighter jet flying over my house. Steiner though looking nice and tidy here as he keeps it tight behind the ETO Husqvarna here for the moment. Over that cross designs jump we go, keeping it tidy, keeping it steady. Looks like there's a position coming up here soon into the next couple of corners. He's definitely looking down to that inside line. Just can't quite find the opportunity. Scrubbing the life out of the Kawasaki there for maximum drive and maximum attack down the hill. Tob though holding a nice line. Steiner down the inside. We're alongside over the finish line. The Ace Moto bike then does make his way through up and into P2 as we enter this next lap. 23 minutes on the clock and Tob's lost 2 positions in the last couple of laps. That is not what he's looking for. Let's see if he can pull that pace back out. But for now, Finn's opened that gap up. 1.7 seconds now is the space between the leader and P2. Sam here, struggling to get his way back up to those top 4 at the moment. Dimitri's holding on not too bad onto the back of his TSCZ teammate there. We've got Brovi on the Phyllis KTM closing up behind. We've got Lanson actually, and seems to have found his way past Pump then. Pump's had an issue on the Honda. Oh no! Almost collects Frank there, but thankfully Frank on the KTM does manage to find his way through. That could have been an absolute disaster there. Finn is honestly too good at this game. He might just be. I feel like we should bribe him to do 450 for the MX. What do you reckon? Who knows, eh? Who knows? Steiner's having a tough time there. Just trying to rejoin. Looks like the bike wasn't cooperating. Dimitri scrubbing the life out of the Husky. Saves it though. Has to go off track in order to recover there. My goodness me, I didn't even have the words for what Dimitri did there. He just somehow managed to turn in midair. No idea. What a move. I see him go against big boys like Hakon and Tyler J. Right, that would be some fantastic battles. They'd be in for a really good season there. Ooh, Steiner's having a tough time here. Robbie's going to capitalise on that and try and punish the mistake as quickly as possible. Jumping all the way over there. A little bit off to the outside of the track, too far on the KTM behind. The Ace Moto bike then does defend for the moment. Both staying nice and scrubby over the JVDL Designs jump as we step down into the hill for that final turn. Steiner defends the position for the moment. Finn, though, up to 6 seconds now, presumably after a couple of mistakes from the trailing bikes. It looks like Dimitri's down to 11 seconds now. Had a massive crash of his own then, by all accounts. Definitely not what he was looking for. We'll see if he can climb up a little bit later. For now, Tob 6 seconds off the leader, but holding on to P2 here on the ETO Husqvarna as we come scrubbing over that Black Label Company jump and the wall jump as well. Refusing to go with the big send. He'd rather keep that bike down and on the ground and moving. Sam here running a similar line. Dimitri just up in front now, up and into the P3 position here on track ahead of his teammate. Both riders, of course, looking to try and find their way past top of the ETO Husky as quickly as they can to try and get that TSCZ locked down on the podium. Starting here, looking to try and recover though, and avoid that from happening, of course. Nice line through the waves there, just absolutely railing the top outside line here on the right-hander. Back around the left we go, a little bit wobbly through there. Keeping it relatively tidy though, and that's what we like to see. A little hydrate, good idea, Turbo. What we'll do while I'm hydrating is we'll have a little lap with the racing leader here as he comes over that final jump to end this lap. We'll do the lap with the leader and then we'll go battle hunting and we'll see if we can find some good fights on the track. For the moment though, nearly 10 seconds is the gap between himself and P2. We'll see what it actually is when Tob crosses that line. Inside to outside there, over the inside line. Keeping it nice and tidy here as we triple up that inside. Oh, a little bit of a case there, but almost greasing it. Having a slurp. Yeah, he's keeping himself nice and tidy. He does scrub the bike over, but he doesn't let off the throttle. He just keeps it absolutely wound round. And there is no letting go for Finn today here in Sweden. It's going to be a long 19 minutes for him, I'm sure, as he has to start climbing onto the back of the traffic here. He's only actually 2 turns away from the tail of the field. And the outside then for Finn, you can see absolutely tapped. You can see his inputs down there in the bottom right of your screen. Just that throttle is absolutely wide open for as long as it can be. That is what we like to see. 10.7 seconds, scrubbing the life out of it over the Valor jump. Oh yes, indeedy, Turbo. It is much appreciated. Whoa, and he's down! The perfect lap goes wrong here with the racing leader. That's going to save Tob a few seconds there, but it's not going to be quite enough, I don't think. Up to 11 seconds according to that previous timing gate. We'll see what it is when that ETO Husky catches up. For now, we'll finish this lap with Finn here as we come back over that JVDL Designs jump once again down into the final single. Interesting that we scrub that so we can get a nice drive up and over the finish jump. And you can see it's all about getting that back wheel back on the ground as quickly as humanly possible. A lovely start to his next lap there. For now though, back down to P2. It looks like Todd's managed to close that 11-second gap down to just 8.3 as a result of Finn's mistake, which is definitely going to give him a little bit more mental energy. He's going to be looking forward to closing that gap up if at all possible. Dimitri the same thing. 11 seconds off the racing leader now. Sam here, not too far off the back of Dimitri. Could be battling it out in the near future for the podium. For now, let's have a little flick down, see if we can find any actual fights going on here. We've got Frank and Lipasek. Lipa looking like he's trying to make a move, closing in on the AEO bike, but just behind them we've got Lanson and Tonka. Tonka down to the inside of the Husky. The ETO Husky of Lanson holding on to the position though, maintaining a very, very solid defensive line. That's what we like to see. See if he can keep that up. Good triple over there, and Tonka gets a rough line into that first turn. Or I guess technically second turn. We'll be alright though as Lanson gets a nice old whip there. A little press of the trick button, but didn't quite get it right. Top here, up and over that Ace Moto jump. You can see almost everyone just getting it sideways as they can, trying to get that bike down to the ground as quickly as possible. Let's have a little Reaper Dog hunt, shall we? We saw him crash at the start, all the way down to the back of the field. We saw him down around the P25, P26 positions, all the way up now to P13 after a fantastic recovery here in the first half of the race. Maybe, just maybe, we see him make it up to that top 5. Let's have a little look at lap time, shall we? 141.6 is his best lap here so far on the 4th lap of his moto. Finn, the racing leader, of course, a 137.7, but I mean, that guy's not human. So 139 from Tob is still a very, very respectable time to aim for. 38 here from Dimitri. He's definitely looking like he could close. That was his fastest lap there here on lap 7. Coming on to lap 8 now. He is closing the gap between himself and P2 and might just be able to squeeze himself an extra cheeky podium spot. Finn's had another moment. Another very slow lap there. 144 has cost him more time indeed. And down to 3 seconds is the gap between himself and the P2 position bike. The P2 position bike? Yeah, what a brain. We'll just make up the commentating words as we speak. It'll be alright. Let's have a little flick down to Lipasek. Looks like he's getting close according to those timing boards. Definitely having a little look at Tonka. He's had a bit of a mistake though. He was ahead of Tonka before. Valentin and Sand Chicken having a great battle up in front here between the Husqvarna and the Kawasaki. The Monster Bike on the defense at the moment, and the Phil's Husky on the attack down the inside. Sand Chicken's made a mistake. Through goes Valentin. He takes the position. A lovely move then from the Phil's Husky. Both scrubbing opposite directions, crossing over positions as well there. That could have gone horribly, horribly wrong for those two riders, but thankfully we do manage to avoid contactless in the midair. Phil's managing to re-secure his position there. Finn here still holding off the P2 bike for now. Dimitri and Tob, though, certainly not far back. Looking like they've got that sniff of the lead and they're hungry for it now. They're chasing. They are ready to try and get that battle going. We've got Deg here just having a tough time. Unfortunately, it's a lap down bike. Thankfully, no major incident there. Oh, the performance racing bike does go over, unfortunately. But thankfully, it wasn't the leading few bikes. Finn then gets a little bit of a gap opened up as a result of that, up to nearly 5 seconds now between himself and the ETO Husky just behind. Dimitri then trying to do well for the team and get himself up and into P2's. Lost just a little bit more time to Tob, but he's closing that gap ever more every lap. We've got Sam and Brovi here. KTM looking to try and close in onto the back of this Husqvarna. He's got a great drive on that outside line here. He might be able to close the gap in the next couple of corners. We'll have a little hover around here for now. Brovi then just assessing Sam's riding style, trying to find an opportunity. Also got to find his way through that traffic. Sam sliced his way past both the blue flag bikes, but Brovi's been held up. He's found himself caught in the traffic and having a tough time getting past. Over the bars we go, nearly land a front flip, but unfortunately it's just not today. Not gonna be today, Brovi, unfortunately. Barboso is not in your favour today. Steiner, though, gets a great drive up through the waves and looks like he might be able to close that gap up, potentially even take the position here. Hawkins there, thankfully, giving way to Steiner. Oh, Brovi's down. That is unfortunate. Very frustrating to see that. A tough situation as well. You can only imagine how annoying it is coming up onto the back of a lap-down bike pack, especially when you're battling it out just that close. And the lap-down bikes are inevitably what split that battle up for now. But look at this. Dimitri on TSCZ Husqvarna closed the gap right up now onto the back of the ETO bike here of Tob. Tob then defending the P2 position like a madman. Dimitri trying to scrub the life out of the bike. Having a little check over his shoulder. There's no one to be seen. He's got time to fight now. Let's see if he can close this gap up. Going for a slightly tighter inside entry to the long, sweepy downhill left-hander. Very, very fun section of the track is the very early section. Down the hill we go into that split left. Dimitri's keeping a nice tidy line here for now, but he's losing a little bit of time to the ETO Husky just up in front. So I'll be running a pretty nice defensive but still aggressive line, making sure he doesn't lose any time, but also isn't giving away any open doors. Finn here, 6 seconds now is the gap between himself and P2. 37.7, still his best lap there from the fourth. Staying okay there then. A 39.4 from Tob, as we saw earlier on. Most riders, I was going to say most riders setting their best laps earlier in the race, but it looks like we've got Sand Chicken here improving ever more throughout the moto. 140.8 now his best. Brovi improved, oh no, sorry, who was it? Who was it that I was looking at? It was Sam. Sam improved up to a 138.8. So he's getting moving now. We've got Steiner here just around half a second off of his optimal lap time on the previous lap, so he's maintaining a fantastic pace there. We've got Brovi closing in though, and Brovi's got just that little bit more to squeeze out of the bike here. We'll see if he can try and close that gap up between himself and Steiner, and see if he can get a little bit more similar lap time, figure out what Steiner's doing that he's not, and take advantage of where he's a little bit stronger. That's the name of the game at the end of the day. Brovi then keeping it nice and tidy. Steiner makes some moves down the inside to keep that defensive keep that defensive line nice and tight there. Again, you don't want to show someone an open door down the inside, or they'll think it's ready there next lap, and they will try and use it. Steiner here having a little wibbly wobble on the pit straight here. Brovi gets a lovely line through that first corner though. What we like to see. Reaper up to P9. There's a little bit of a docky-walkie update for you on the Kawasaki. He is having a hell of a ride here tonight. He's got roughly, what is that, 7 seconds to the bike in front? 6 seconds, I apologise. It looks like it's closed up just a little bit now. So he's just got to catch up with Chicken in front. And he might be able to get himself up a little bit further through the field, but Doc having a fantastic recovery ride. Like I say, at the start of the race, got caught up in some early traffic around turn 2, and it was just not a good scene. Always nice to see him climb his way back to the top 10 though. I'm sure we'll see him improve still with the remaining 10 minutes. Dimitri getting all sorts of scrubby over that Valor jump. A very, very nice run over there. We've got Tob here just behind Dimitri then up and into the P2 position. As a result, looks like we missed out unfortunately. That's a my bad situation. Steiner and Brovi having a very tight battle here still, as the Phil's KTM tries his best to close on into the Ace Moto Cowie. We'll come back to that in just a moment. We'll have a little looky-loo up here again. Looks like Dimitri's found his way back behind Tob again. Not entirely sure how that's happened. Potentially something to do with this traffic around him. We've got a lot of blue flag bikes that are coming through now into the closing stages of the moto. It's not going to make things easy on these lads. Down the inside for Dimitri. Scrubs his way. Still gets the triple from the outside. That's what we like to see. It's going to be interesting to see just how scrubby those 450s are a little bit later on tonight. And I see some wonderful things, I'm sure. Now down the inside for Dimitri as he continues to try and find his way back up into that P2 position. For now though, let's have a little look at Lepasek, shall we? Currently in P11, not too far off of the back of Tonka. You can see Tonka's roost just up in front. That's actually Reaperdoc, Tonka, and I think Sand Chicken up in front. Tonka having a move down the inside and then the outside of Reaperdoc. A lovely move there for the Husqvarna rider. Reaperdoc on the Cowie, unable to defend that positional move just yet. Let's see if he can close that gap back up a little bit later in the race though. For now, back down to P10 he goes. Lepasek right onto the back of this 3-bike battle now. There you go, Husqvarna then. Trying his best to climb into the dock and find his, or climb into the top 10, sorry, and push Doc down into the rest of the pack. Sand Chicken though has made a mistake, and that may be the bike that gets eliminated from the top 10. He is indeed. The Mostra bike goes off for a second time in 2 corners. That's a very, very unfortunate situation for the rider, but Lipo down the inside line gets a phenomenal drive up the hill. Just making that Husky 250 eat as much as it can. Doc's having all sorts of moments, but he's managed to save potentially the sketchiest moment I've seen all season. Absolutely no idea how that Kawasaki is still in the running, but Lepasek is all over him. Trying to make a move as we come down the hill once again. Having a look around the outside, not going to happen. Reaperdoc keeps those nice fast lines locked off. Lipo's having a look down the inside there, but unfortunately blows his opportunity at staying in the rut. Grease in that double though. Up here at the front of the field, we've had a change of leader. Tob on the ETO Husqvarna takes the racing lead with roughly 7.5 minutes to go. Finn then down to P2 with a 2-second gap. He has to recover this. 37.7 still remains his best lap, and we'll have a little look at his lap times. You can see 38s and 41s to be expected, but 49.9 on that last lap. That must have been a hell of a crash for the leader. He's definitely got the pace to re-secure the racing lead, provided he can keep that bike with the shiny side up and the rubber side in the dirt. We'll see if that's the case though. For the moment, the gap 1.3 for Tob. He's going to be happy with that for the moment. We'll see. We'll have a little check-in just back here, and we'll jump straight back up with the leaders here very shortly. Brovi and Steiner still going at it. These guys have been battling for the best part of 20 minutes now. A fantastic fight between these two riders. Back up in the fight for P1 though. It looks like Finn's starting to close up just a little bit here now on that Kawasaki. It's not enough to make a move yet, but it's enough to try and force some kind of mistake. Olivia, I appreciate the follow there. Welcome in. Hopefully you're having a nice night. Looks like Finn though is trying to hone on in now. He's roughly 2 seconds a lap faster on an optimal lap, but he hasn't been able to replicate that 37 later in the race. Scrubbing our way down to the inside once again. What up, Slice? How are we getting on, my man? Hopefully you're having a nice night yourself. We are into the final 6 minutes of the first moto of the MX2 class. for round 8 of the MXBGP season, of course. Finn here, having a little look-see-loo down the inside. Can he find an opportunity? It's not available just yet. Sob, though, has a little bit too much time in the air, and Finn's going to be all over that. Down the inside we go, ripping his way through the inside line, and the position goes to the Kawasaki almost immediately there. Sob left on the outside, just wondering what happened. Fear Murder here, just making sure he gives way to that blue flag, presumably after what can only assume to be a little bit of a moment. Great battle up here at the front of the field, though. We've got a fair few bikes starting to retire now towards the closing stages. Neon, unfortunately, way at the back of the pack. Wonder what happened there. Larson's doing reasonably well up there in P16. That's what we like to see. Reaper Doc and Lipo still holding P9 and 10. Tonka hasn't dropped back, though. He's actually secured P8. We're going to have a little look-see, see if the old helicam works nowadays. Does indeed. You can see some lap-down bikes just up in front there. We're getting all sorts of funky angles with this helicopter cam. Not to worry, not to worry. I should have done some experimentation pre-stream in hindsight and seen where are the best corners for the helicam. For the moment, though, Finn leads. It looks like that gap starts to open up just a little bit now between Tob and himself. Fear Murder, the blue flag KTM, actually closing in now. Looking like he's doing quite well. And learning those lines. That's what we are. That's what the name of the game is at the end of the day. Follow the fast riders. Oh, he's managed to unlap himself, at least from Tob here for the moment. The ETO Husky then left back behind the blue flag bike with another blue flag joining. Oh, that was close. He's managed to find his way through, though. Hopefully we see him continue to climb onto the back of Finn once again. Potentially we get some more battles for that lead later in the moto. For now, though, Pascal, hopefully you're having a nice night, man. For now, we've got Dimitri and Sam. 4 seconds separate the two riders, so Sam's not going to be in with too much of a chance. And actually, Steiner's managed to break free of Brovi and is now right onto the back of the TSCZ Husqvarna up in front. The Ace Moto Cowie climbs up through the ranks once again. It's a battle for P4 here in the very, very near future. Sam, though, of course, is going to be hearing that bike revving behind him. He's going to know he's got to start pushing now in order to defend the position. You see that back end just getting a little bit squirrely down the inside line there. Steiner just carrying so much speed into the outside there. Over the cross designs jump we go, and then a little double that follows it. Sam's keeping himself very, very tidy. See Steiner, though, with a big old sends. He's carrying a lot of speed, not necessarily scrubbing off as much as he should be. Definitely be working that Kawasaki just a little bit more, but of course we're coming into those closing stages. You don't want to make any major mistakes that could cost you the race. Not when he's got this much chance of a position. Sam, of course, going to be feeling some pressure now, seeing that timer tick on down in the top left of his screen. He is not going to be a very comfortable boy right now. Got some blue flag bikes up in front once again. We got Go Lipo. Let's have a little look. Lipo still holding on to that P10 position just behind Doc. They're very, very close, though, as the Husqvarna tries to get that gap closed. Oh, that was really close between the rejoining blue flag bike. My God. That could have been all sorts of things. It wasn't even blue flag bike, it was Frangelek. Frangelek down to P10 now. Reaper Doc and Lipo up to P8 and 9 as a result then. Real bad crash for Frank on the KTM, sorry. Lipo around the outside of Doc. He's trying to force a move down the inside. He's found his way through. Reaper Doc off and to the outside, unfortunately, as a result of the very, very aggressive overtake. But Lipo's found his way up and into the P8 position and off the bike somehow. Not entirely sure. I think he had a bit of a collision with the blue flag rider. Tries to rejoin, but that should probably get him a penalty, unfortunately. Looks like Finn starting to walk away once again with that racing lead up to 8.2 seconds now between himself and the P2 rider. The TSCZ Kawasaki then hungry for the win here towards the towards the closing stages of the season. It's not often my brain moves faster than my mouth, but there you go. And now look at this man. Absolutely flying his way around Uddevalla tonight. Stop it. has had a hell of a ride as well here. He's had a couple of chances at that top spot. It's just been a little bit too much pressure from behind from Finn to maintain it. So a little peek back, see how Doc's getting on, shall we? It looks like Doc's found his way back ahead of Lipasek after Lipasek's crash into that next corner after he put Doc off in the corner prior. If you remember just moments ago, Cloud, of course, lapped down, unfortunately, after his disastrous fall from grace earlier on in the race. Reaper Doc scrubbing the life out of that Kawasaki. Lipasek then trying his best to close that gap down. It looks like it's holding reasonably steady, though, at around half a second or a couple of bike lengths. Doc always goes for that inside line here. Lipo goes for that outside. He knows he's quicker here. He's done him before. Locks it in there with a nice clean overtake. Reaper Doc still almost side by side. Nearly gets contact in the air there. Thankfully, Doc is smart enough to keep his bike straight and we don't see a major crash. Both riders still very much in this race. 2 laps remaining according to that top of my screen. T-Loss with the follow. Thank you. Welcome in. Doc and Lipo putting in a fantastic battle here towards the closing stages. Gonna have a little glimpse up at the front, make sure we're not missing anything major here. Finn looks like he's still holding on to that 11-second gap pretty comfortably. I don't see Dimitri too close. He's reasonably close. We may see a battle develop there on the final lap. I'll make sure to check again with the leading few. But for now, back down to what seems to be the closest battle on the field at the moment. Lipasek versus the Reaper Doc, and Tonka up in front is going to make this a 3-way battle now in the fight for P7. Once we get past Sullivan, the blue flag Husky. Nipo then having a nice job here so far. We've got Doc just behind, bringing up the rear there. Cloud seems to have gotten back in the rhythm now. And is keeping a decent pace, but these guys are definitely pulling away from him here tonight. Lipasek there making a move down the inside. It's not going to be enough to get past Sullivan just there by the looks of things, though. So they still have to find their way through the blue flag, and the longer it takes Lipo to find his way past Sullivan, the more chance Reaper Doc has of closing that gap back up and potentially fighting it out for that P7 position once again. The P8 position once again, sorry. With Tom Quick also holding the P7 position at the Memento. For now, up at the front of the field, Dimitri and Tob is the battle to watch in the fight for P2 on the final lap of the race. Here we go. Well, they're going to be starting their final lap of the race. My apologies, of course, Finn just crossed that finish line. Tob and Dimitri then, the fight for P2. Ulmer on the Prestige KTM, checking over his shoulder, making sure he doesn't have to give way just yet. But there you go, you can see him slowing off to the side to allow the leading bikes through. That's what we like to see from the lap down riders. Some good common courtesy. Always like to be in good racing etiquette. For now, Tob, he gets a little bit of a wall there. Potentially feeling a little bit of pressure now from the TSCZ Husqvarna behind. You can see him behind. He must be able to see that shadow as he comes over the jumps. Oh, and Dimitri's off a huge crash in the background there for the Husqvarna. Not at all what he was hoping for as we come into the closing stages of this race. It looks like Tob's P2 position is relatively secure then for now, barring any major mistakes. For now then, back up with the racing leader Finn, as he has 12.6 seconds to the rest of the field, scrubbing his way over that Vala jump for the final time in this first moto. Around at the last few corners here now, as we chase onto the back of Larson. There you go, Husky. Trying to keep a good pace too. Looks like he's had a decent race here so far for Larson. Up into P14 tonight. An unfortunate last lap lapping though. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Finn's off. And a little bit of a moment there. Thankfully, he does manage to get the bike back onto the track. It looks like he's going to take this one home. Across the finish line we come then for P1 here in Sweden for Finn on the TSCZ Productions Kawasaki. A fantastic ride there from him. A couple of very, very dangerous moments where he lost the lead after a couple of mistakes. But thankfully does manage to rise back up through the ranks to P1. Tob then taking P2 on the ETO Racing Husqvarna, and Dimitri takes P3 on the TSCZ Husky to lock off that podium. We've got Sam then coming down into the final corner now. He'll take P4 behind his two teammates, but it's still a very, very nice run for himself. We saw him go down through the pack a little bit earlier on and climb his way back up through. Steiner and Brovy finished P5 and 6. Brovy, of course, Had a very, very aggressive fight with Steiner for almost the entire race. They were having a fantastic battle. We've got Tonka then. Going to be bringing up the P7 position, a few seconds ahead of Leapasec by the looks of things. As we come up and over that Cross's Eyes jump just before this JVDL Designs one. Up and over we come then, down into that last single before the final corner, and of course the finish line. Tonka then, after a nice defensive run, takes P7 here tonight in Sweden, and Leapasec for P8. We've got Reaperdoc going to be bringing home P9. He's lost a fair bit of time to Lipo there on that last lap. Looks like he must have had some kind of crash that we didn't see. Reaperdoc then finishes P9, Cloud P10, and Franklek finishes up in the P11 spot, just ahead of Sand Chicken. In fact, Sand Chicken finished in P11 on track, but due to penalties gets pushed down to P12. Larson then, a solid run here tonight for the AEO Husky. That's what we like to see. Up and into P14 we go here tonight. Lovely riding indeed. But the top three, Finn, Tob and Dimitri. Some fantastic riding from those top three riders. We've had some great battles so far tonight here in Sweden, so hopefully we can continue to see that as we move over to the MX1 class for some 450 goodness. Hopefully we can, hopefully we see some real serious scrubbing on this circuit here tonight. That's what I'm hoping for. For now though, I'm going to throw you guys back over into the commercials once again, and we shall see you very, very shortly. We're here, we made it. Let's go, big W. Good spot, thank you very much. We're going to get rolling though. We are getting rolling here. The starting gates are on here for round 8 of the EU MXBGP series. Let's get this going. Looks like Tyler J is lining up for that whole shot. Almost gets it, but it goes to Linz on the AJP Gas, leading the moto very early on here in Uddevalla. That's exactly the start he was wanting. Tyler J then for P2, Aiden P3, Matteo in P5 or 6 by the looks of it. A great start from the majority of the field, but this back half has been caught up in some serious congestion there after a couple of bikes seems to have gone down and just everyone behind got collected. That is really unfortunate for those riders. For now though, let's get back over to these TV cams and have a little look-see-loo at just how good Linz is getting on. Looks like he's had a little bit of a rough end to the first lap here so far. Back down into the midfield, so we'll see if Hakon is holding on any better. It looks like he's had a moment himself. Tyler J then leading the race up here on the MXBMR. No, it's a bloody KTM every week. Every week, the white bike that's actually a KTM gets me confused, man. I don't know why. Anyways, he's having a nice night here so far. Hopefully he can continue to do so. Roughly half a second between himself and Ben here. Looks like a little bit more than that, potentially a whole second now. We'll see how that gets on. Ben here holding on to... Wait, what? There's Ben and Ben. Oh my god, this is going to get confusing as shit. They were even both on KTMs. Alright, at least we got different teams, eh? This could get disastrous. Linzo scrubbing the life out of gas, having a very, very nose-heavy landing, but takes it nicely and keeps it running in the groove, nice and smooth. Let's see if he can keep it moving. And a nice scrub underneath. He's trying to pass Ben from the TKZY racing team. Or the TQZ. That's a mouthful and a half. Holy crap. TQCY. Wow. Anyways. Alrighties. I have no idea what that abbreviation is. Probably should though, huh? Other Ben here though from the MXB shop is going up and over the bars as through turn 2, and Linz will take the P2 position away from him then. Back down to P3 we go then, unfortunately for the KTM rider. Tyler J though starting to come away with a really nice gap as a result. Roughly 4 seconds to P2 now after Ben's crash, so Linz is now down into that P2 position. Ben there running off once again. Not what he was looking for at all. Let's see how he stays on. We've got a Ben versus Ben battle developing here. I'm going to get so distracted by that, sorry. Aiden and Hakon seem to be starting to close in. In fact, Hakon's had some kind of a moment and he's back behind Callum and Tommywhack. Lost a lot of time there then for himself. Back up in the Ben v Ben fight. Looks like Ben's gone down and Ben will go through. That's victory for one Ben and disaster for another. Looks like they're doing alright here so far though, sorry. It's just so goofy. We've got ourselves here with Linz up and in the P2 position. Unfortunately though, it is 6 seconds or just shy of to the racing leader Tyler J up here with the red plate KTM on the MXBMR team, having a very, very nice run indeed so far tonight. We'll see if he can hold that up though. Hakon trying to recover from his prior mistakes. Looks like he's still fighting it out with Callum here on the NGS Gas. just keeping it sided. We've got Matteo there having a nice scrub past Moto Patrol films. That Mostra Kawasaki looks like he's keeping it moving nice and tidy here. It's the first time I've spotted him in the race, so it may well be... Oh my days. Moto Patrol films had a huge crash. Cam takes full advantage of the two positions that just flew off the circuit. That was Ben and Moto Patrol. Certainly not what they were looking for at all. Tyler J though, opening that gap up nice and early. Linz has got himself a lot of breathing room from behind now and just gets to focus on attempting to close that gap. Let's see if his lap times stand up to it in a few minutes time. For now though, back down with Aiden versus Ben in the battle for P3. This is the MXB shot Ben, of course, the number 43. I'm going to look around the outside of Aiden this time. He's going to try and carry as much momentum as he can down this next hill into the inside. He's not got enough just yet though. That was a great run, but just wasn't enough to come alongside Aiden just yet. The MXBMR Gas then does maintain the P3 position, at least for the moment. Hakon now, after coming through the traffic from his prior crash, back up into P5 and back onto the pack. We'll see if he can start to develop a nice little bit of racing moves here in the very, very near future. He's having a look around the outside of Aiden. Not going to happen just yet. He's going to get a good drive over this cross-design section, though. Ooh, that was a very sketchy landing. Managing to pull it together and greasing that second double around the outside for the KTM. It looks like he's got a much smoother line on the throttle there. Over that JVDL Designs jump, we're side by side. Almost a little too close to call as we come into this final corner. Aiden does take the position, though. Holding on to it at least for the moment. Hakon, though, gets a great landing and a great drive to go with it. Unfortunately, a slight bump causes Aiden to go over the bars multiple times. Not what he was looking to do. Ben here on the MXB shop. KTM's going to take full advantage and slip down the inside. Doesn't quite get the position. Aiden puts on a very nice defence there on the gas, securing his position once again, maintaining the P4 spot. Hakon, though, up and into the podium, and very grateful to be there, I'm sure. Linz, though, closing up onto the back of Tyler J. What was a 6-second gap down to just 3.9 now with 24 minutes on the clock. He has definitely got the pace here. Yeah, provided Tyler didn't have a major crash in the last lap or so. Doesn't particularly look like it, but of course this lap hasn't counted itself just yet. Matteo and Callum here. Having a nice little battle in the fight for P6 between the Mostra Kawasaki and the NGS Gas. Trying to find something to stick here for Callum. He's having a look down the inside. Can he cut off enough time? It doesn't look like it. You need to really hit those inside ruts hard if you want to use them to their fullest. But Matteo's down and Callum goes through anyway. Thank you very much, he says. Consistency is the key. Linz is actually really starting to close this gap now. It's getting very, very serious. Just lost another second in the last 30 seconds. So he is very much moving here on the AJP FXR Gas. Hopefully we can see him continue to rise up through the field and potentially challenge Tyler J then for the win for this race. It's always an entertaining scene. We like seeing the speedy boys battle, you know. Whoa, Ben's had a big crash there just as we clicked over to him. That is very not what we want to see. Very not what we want to see. You want to brain. Doesn't make any sense. Regardless, though, we have ourselves a 3-bike battle? 6-bike battle? Not sure what I'm calling it. Tommy whacked out of it, though, which is not what he was hoping for. Cam then takes the position. Dill Pickle holding on behind. He's going to have a look down the inside. He's not going to be close enough just yet to make a move, though. Although he may well be able to come alongside through this first couple of turns of the circuit. Getting awfully close here to the back of this MXBMR KTM. Dill Pickle there runs it wide. That's going to cost him a lot of time. Moto Patrol then all over him once again. Jake closing in as well here. Moto Patrol with possibly the biggest whip tonight so far. And in fact, I seem to have missed it, but Linz has found his way up and into P1 once again. Tyler J then down to P2. A 1.2 second gap. Time will tell once we finish this lap to see if he made any major mistakes. It doesn't look like it according to those timing boards. We will see though as we come through the last couple of turns here soon and get that lap time up. For now, though, Lynn's going to be happy to get himself back up into the lead. Oh, not so much anymore. The commentator's curse strikes immediately. And Tyler J re-secures the P1 position once again. Lynn then has to do all that work once again. My apologies for the commentator's curse. I can't help it. It just happens. But he is moving here tonight at 38.7 flat. A very, very quick time indeed. And it looks like Tyler J is not able to be clicked. There we go. 1:39.645. He's having a very quick time indeed, but he's almost a second there, slower than Linz rather, on an optimal lap. So Linz is definitely looking to try and improve on that. Both riders though didn't get optimal laps, and their positions remain as they were at the start. Back on then, maintaining the P3 position, looking to try and close that gap up. It's 8.2 for now. We'll keep that in mind and see how that goes. Jake, Cam and Ben seem to have had some kind of shuffle in the order. Looks like Cam leading the three of them. Jake P2 and Ben P3 in their respective order. It's actually P7, 8 and 9. Looks like they're doing okay in the grand scheme of things. You hit a 39.8 hamburger? Let's go, boy. Get your butt in NA. Tyler J then, taking full advantage of Linz's prior accident. 3.5 seconds is the time between them. Doesn't look like it's actually that much though. It looks like it may be very, very much closer than that. Potentially just down to 1 second here. Only like probably about 5 to 10 bike lengths between the two of them. Linz has really been moving here tonight in Sweden. It definitely seems to be gelling with him in that gas. See if he can continue to find his way around that circuit nice and smoothly. Both riders have been prone to making a couple of mistakes here and there in these races, and so it's never over till that checkered flag waves. For now though, Tyler J does maintain that lead. We'll see what the gap is between them. I'm estimating roughly 1.5 seconds. It's 2.2, so potentially Linz has a 1 second penalty, which could be disastrous in the closing stages of the race. Thankfully there's still 19 minutes on the clock. He's still got plenty of time to try and recover from this. But a 1 second penalty this early on would not be ideal in the slightest. May actually have extended up to 2.2. I may just be wrong with my time-based estimations recently. Who knows? Hack on note, 8.2 down to 7.7. We've closed half a second then in the last lap. Definitely getting a wriggle on here. This gap between the leaders is closed right back up again. Look, the AJP Gas makes a move down the inside. Tyler to the outside, lets him on through, but he's going to have a good drive down the inside again. Up the hill we go then. Husky to the, or KTM to the inside, Gas to the outside. Linz is going to get the better drive, but Tyler J gets a smoother run and therefore gets a slightly quicker time through that particular section. Linz then trying absolutely everything he's got here to squeeze his way past the outside here. He's having a look to switch back underneath. Tyler J though takes to the inside line on a defensive precaution. It's a great battle developing between these two riders. Both just monsters in the field. It'll be interesting to see what their lap times are towards the closing stages of this race as they just start to push more and more on top of one another. Tyler J is trying absolutely everything he can to keep Linz behind him, but Linz is not giving him an inch here at the moment. We remain just a couple of bike lengths between P1 and 2. Tyler J runs it deep and Linz will take the inside line. We know that outside is very slightly faster though. Tyler J proves it by remaining in the P1 spot, but Linz almost comes alongside here, up and over the Black Label Company jump. We've almost got front to rear alignment here. In fact, we do. Linz comes alongside and the AJP Gas has a look down the inside. Can he lock it off? Yes, he can. Tyler J then left speechless around the outside. Going to have to find his way back up and into that lead once again a little later on into the moto. Blue flag bike in the way. Thankfully, neither rider hits him. What a nice battle developing between these two leaders though. Tyler J not happy to be passed. He wants his victory. Definitely needs to secure this one here tonight. Up and over that Valor scrub. You see just how sideways, not like sideways direction wise, but sideways vertical wise the bikes get there. Handlebars and tyres just level. Tyler is putting in a great aggressive run here, trying to climb onto the back of Linz, but Linz has a 7/10 gap developed here at the moment, and it looks like it's only going to get bigger than that. Down the inside of that final corner. Runs it a little bit wide onto the grass there. That could be risky in the future, and it looks like it actually is. It looks like he picked up the penalty there. Either that or that penalty that we suspected earlier on was true. It doesn't look like he picked up a penalty. So yeah, it was actually a 1 second penalty from earlier on in the moto. Hakon is flying. You're right, Rax. Good spot there. What was an 8.2 second gap earlier in the race. We saw it go down to 7.7. It's now 4.2 between himself and the leading two riders. Let's have a little look with Hakon. He's actually a lot closer than that timing board indicates. Looks like he's got a couple of bikes in tow as well. I believe they are a lap down though. I think Aiden's a fair gap off. Yeah, looks like roughly 15 seconds between himself and Hakon. Hakon though, closing that gap up ever more. Linz remains P1 on track. It looks like he's actually opened that gap up enough between himself and Tyler J. So roughly 1.1 between those two riders then at the moment. Hakon's lost roughly half a second in that last particular sector. Keeping it nice and tidy though. That's the name of the game. Consistency is the king. It will get you to the end. Of course, Hakon needs to finish ahead of Tyler J if he wants any chance of beating him towards the end of the season. Definitely moving. He is definitely moving. We've got Linz here now. Opens up now to a 2 second gap between himself and Tyler J. Remembering that penalty is in play. We shall see if Tyler J can capitalise on it and potentially get the win by technicality. They're getting real scrubby on that Mostra Kawasaki. Cam here closing up once again on the KTM though to the back of Aiden. So this is the battle for P4 or for P5. I'm not 100% sure whether Matteo was ahead of them or behind them. I think he's yeah, he is behind them. So this is the battle for P4 and 5 then between Aiden and Cam. Nice battle developing here then in the top of the field as the KTM starts to close up once again to the back of his teammate. Aiden, of course, on the gas. Cam on the KTM rider, the KTM bike rather. Nice and tidy in. Ooh, we had a little bit of a wobble there. Kept that back wheel in check though. Aiden's had a bad bounce on the inside line. Cam then going to get a great drive through the outside. Can he lock it off into this left-hand turn? Yes, he can. Oh, no, he can't. He had a wobble on the inside. Aiden re-secures the position then. Up and over the Black Label Company jump. And Aiden re-secures the P4 position here on the track. Ooh, he's all sorts of wobbly on the landing. Cam down the inside gets a fantastic dive. And the pass comes with it. Watch the battle first. We'll have a little checkaroonie. It looks like Linz has had some kind of disaster. Down to P3 he goes. Hakon up and into P2 just up ahead of the gas. Tyler J then leading by just over 5 seconds. A big crash then for Linz, presumably. In future, I might start, like when we see disastrous changes like that, I might start skipping back through them. For now tonight, it's been a little bit long, so I don't want to have to hunt it. What up, Moldova? How we doing? Tyler J here, just trying to keep it tidy. He's got a 5 second gap to Hakon. That's all that really matters here at the moment. Of course, lap times are going to come into play towards the closing stages. We've got 13 minutes remaining. 1:38.4 on the clock. Oh, 1:38.4 was Tyler J's lap time, rather. On that previous lap, his fastest of the race. A 1:37.4 though. On Hakon's not last, but one before that. On lap 8. 1:37.497. He's just over half a second then. In fact, he's almost a whole second faster than Tyler J around his fastest lap. So Hakon is absolutely hauling on the Ace Moto Prestige KTM here tonight. Looking to try and keep that bike moving. Looks like he's definitely in a very smooth rhythm here. That wasn't Tyler J down. No, it wasn't. It was a lap down bike. My apologies. I was just making sure. Got to check these things, you know. Cam actually doing reasonably well here. Still holding on to that P6 position. Looks like he's actually lost a position to Matteo there on track as well, which is unfortunate. Matteo, of course, going to be very happy with it though here on the Mostra Kawasaki. Sorry, my brain is dying. Really warm in my room. Reese is having a pretty decent run down there in P19. Hopefully we'll see him move up a little bit further throughout the seasons. Cam's trying his best to close in onto the back of Matteo, and it is working, but it looks like he's got some pretty hefty penalties. I'd estimate Cam to have around 3, maybe 4 seconds of penalties. Definitely not what he's hoping to achieve. That's going to cost him in the long run. Ben on the MXB Shop KTM was up there at the front earlier on, down to P14 now, after a few incidents of his own. Definitely not going to be looking forward to finishing this race. Definitely wants to try and extend it a little bit, get his opportunity to climb back up through the field. You know what we're saying. Tyler J around the outside there through the AB Customs corner, and up but over the AB Customs table we go. Again, it's just about consistency at this point. You've just got to get those lap times in. Hakon here has lost some time, up to 8 seconds, down to 7.4 now. So it's still lost a little bit of time overall to the leader. And down he goes again. That's losing him more time still. And the Paboso is just playing with him now. That is extremely unfortunate stuff there for the Ace Moto rider. Thankfully, he seems to be back into it. And it doesn't seem to have phased him too much. Lindsay seems to have lost the leading 2 riders, down 20 seconds now from the leader. Still had a very, very nice ride here tonight. It looks like potentially the erode and the lack of a bike to chase is both sort of coming together there. Of course, we all know it's easier to run your best laps when you're just chasing someone without thinking about what you're actually doing. You're just comparing your line against theirs and trying to make your line the fast one. Lindsay gets a dodgy bounce on the final corner, but keeps it nice and tidy into the actual jump. 17 seconds now, so it looks like he's actually getting a bit of a wriggle on, getting a nice recovery ride now. 41.1 on the previous lap, Tyler J 42.6 and Hakon a 43.005. All 3 riders then not riding their optimal times on that previous lap. Tyler J keeping himself tidy. Let's have a little flick around, see if we can find some battles once again. Looks like Dan here on the TSEZ Productions Huskies, making his way up through the field a little bit further, up to P7 now. He's just behind Jake there. Jake actually shows P10 on the track, so potentially one person is in a place where they shouldn't be. Eurus there as well, so I presume that Dan's had a bit of a moment. Looks like he's down to P8 now on that timing board, so it has updated. Eurus is right on top of him though in the fight for P8. Of course, we know that outside after that first big triple is nice and preferable there. Dan having a nice run down the inside of Eurus, gives him the old elbow budge, gets him out the rut rather, and Eurus tries to give him a bit of his own medicine back. Couldn't quite get the job done though. And Dan remains in the P8 position for the moment. In fact, P7. Sorry, I apologise. It looks like Dill Pickle had a bit of a moment of his own, and has had yet another one. Not what he was looking for here tonight. He loses more positions still. Not ideal at all, but look at this. Up at the front of the field, Hakon has closed the gap, comes absolutely out of nowhere, up and into P2. Now we're looking down the back exhaust of P1. Down the inside line we get past. How many times have you seen that tonight? A sum total of 1 now. Tyler J having a little look. Trying to find an opportunity that Hakon's weak in here as we pick our way through the traffic. And oh, he hits the tough block. Hits the tough block there as he runs it just a little too wide here on the Ace Moto KTM, throwing away that lead for now. 7.5 minutes to try and recover it. A few seconds though is the gap between the two. Tyler's been pretty much tapped since the accident. Only letting off for this Kabbalah corner up here. Howell giving Tyler a wave on through. Hakon now 4.2 is the gap between himself and Tyler J after that absolute disaster. That was a fantastic moving up into the lead. I just ran it a little too hot on the exit of the corner there. Got lap down Tyler there. Thankfully he's giving way once again. Ooh, what a save there from Hakon. I was just going to say, what a... whoa! What? Alright, I've forgotten what I was going to say. I need to see that again, though. What happened here? Oh, I see. Just one wheel connected at a time, and they weren't running in sync. Thankfully, though, manages to get it back under control, remains the P2 position with a 3.6 second gap. He's actually managed to close the gap, even with a hiccup like that. Lynn's here, down to 7.7 now. Really starting to get that throttle twisted now, and definitely getting a move on. 37.663 is his fastest lap here so far on the race, and that was his previous lap here, even in the eroded Sweden. 37.486 is Tyler J's fastest, the 37.497 is Hakon's fastest, and of course the 37.663 for Lynn. So they are all within about 2/10 of each other in terms of lap time on a clean lap. So Linz is very much within a chance of grabbing up into that pole position once again here in the remaining 5 minutes of tonight's moto. For now, I need to top my drink up real quick. Bear with me. Was that Hakon? It was. What happened to the leader? Tyler J then, as well, is actually Linz leading the race once again here. We know he's suffering with that nasty 1 second penalty that we spoke about earlier on here tonight. So it's not going to update him into the lead just yet, because you can see the other two half a second behind him, or half a second ahead of him. DJ Hakon just got screwed by lappers. Oh, Rax, that is very unfortunate to hear, but on the bright side, holy heck, has it made this race just that little bit more spicy now. Lynn's in the lead, Hakon P2 and Tyler J P3, and they're all within a second. We're having a an exciting final 4 minutes here, hopefully. Tyler J here just trying to keep as steady as he can. Hakon's run that wide line again, hits the tough block, knows better this time and brakes, but it's unfortunately going to lose in the position. Tyler J then up and into P2 once again as he tries to close his way onto the back of the AJP Gas. It's a great drive through the hill. Down the inside line we go. Lynn's going to run the outside to get a nice drive. Yeah, that inside's ever so slightly faster through the first corner. Evens out reasonably well though, and Hakon comes alongside Tyler to re-secure the P2 position here. Tyler has a bit of a mistake there on the way into the Valor jump. Doesn't come off the bike, but does have a little wobble that costs him a fraction of a second. Hakon and Linz then is the battle to watch up here in the fight for P1. What have we got in store tonight? Good to see the blue flag bike giving out the way. Hakon and Linz, according to the previous timing board, separated by half a tenth, and I believe it so much. Down the outside he goes over the finish jump. Hakon re-secures the P1 position, just bike lengths ahead of Linz into that first turn. Half a second now separating them. Linz, of course. Oh, Linz has a nasty penalty. That's a really nasty penalty. 2 seconds it must be. Because he's obviously, well, just a tenth behind Hakon. He's super duper close. Hakon going for the super ultra mega 360 scrub. Doesn't quite manage to pull it off though. And Linz will re-secure the racing lead as a result of that. Thank you very much, he says. Hakon just trying to show off a little much. Whoa, and again as he goes spiralling over that. We've got to go back and watch that, surely. Got to go back and watch that. What happened here? I don't even know. I don't even know. He just became a helicopter. Anyways, we're up to live. We are with live. Alright, cool. Linz then still leading. 6/10 is the gap between himself and Tyler J according to the penalties. Remember, that's actually 2.6 seconds. No hams today because my MXB is not working with you? Not to worry, Z. It happens sometimes, my man. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, does it, you know? There's nothing you can do about it. It's a little bit of a shame, of course. We always like the amateur racing. It's always funny. But it's always also usually gives some good battles as well, but always some good carnage. But yes, not to worry though if it's not playing ball. Linz and Tyler J. Tyler J very much within the penalty realm here for the back of Linz. We'll see if he has any penalties of his own here. It doesn't look like it. It looks like he's 4/10 off the back of Linz here. But of course is showing 1.6 ahead due to Linz's 2 seconds of penalty difference there. Of course Tyler may be holding his own and Linz may have more than 2. But the difference between the two riders is around 2 seconds in terms of those penalties. At the moment though, Tyler is pushing as hard as that MXBMR KTM will let him. Linz here though, putting that gas to work. Always nice to see a little bit of variety in the field. And like tonight, we've got the KTMs, we've got the gases, we've got a Kawasaki in the mix. We obviously got the Huskies and the other bikes like we normally do. We had Dennis started the race on a Suzuki there. Jez runs it wide there to allow TJ through. Look at this battle developing though between these two lads. Linz hard on a defensive run now. He knows he has roughly 2 laps remaining to try and break a 2-second barrier between himself and Tyler J. Or try and build a 2-second barrier rather between himself and Tyler J. Lands a little deep into the hill there. That's going to give Tyler J just a slight advantage as we get a better acceleration down the hill. Down into this right-left set combination. Looking nice. Up and over the cross designs jump. Into that left-hander. Keeping it nice and tidy here. Just running that inside wall to the outside. Seems to be the preferred line in both 250 and the 450 class. Even once it's eroded, it seems to become just a very nice big rut. Another rider pulled off to the side there to allow the leading 2 through without hindrance. 2 laps remain here in Sweden. Tyler J very much close enough to make this stick. Hakon a little bit off the pace here. And he's always over the bars. The commentator's curse has struck once again. And Paboso has turned him into a helicopter. That is what he is supposed to be here tonight. Diarrhea's got the baby. Oh no, Cam, that is not something I needed to know. That's alright, don't you worry. But Hakon then holding on pretty nicely, but unfortunately is having some Paboso related issues here tonight. Oh, Linz is having some issues of his own. It looks like he's done a bit of a hack on there and gone into the into that particular hay bale. Not hay bale, but tough block. That's the word I'm looking for. He's lost that gap between himself and Tyler J. Then Tyler J, of course, going to try and just walk away with this as quickly as he can. Once we get this lap done, it's just the one remaining. World War II. Oh no. Get all the boys on the front lines. There you be. Anyway, it looks like we've got a nice little battle developing between these guys. Although it actually looks like penalties are what separates them. Or what puts them so awfully close. Yeah, Linz has just lost too much time to Tyler J, I don't think he's got the opportunity to close it up unless Tyler makes some kind of absolutely massive mistake coming into this last lap. That's Cam pulled over on the side there. He had to run over to a bush real quick. Look, America and Australia on top. We can't be having wars. We can't be starting race wars in the chat. Back on here, trying to close that gap up. It's down to 20 seconds now after just more mistakes. We're going to go up with the racing leader then, Tyler J, to finish off the race with him on the MXBMR KTM with the shiny red plate. I guess not so shiny anymore now that it's covered in dirt. But he's had a well-fought race. A lot of disasters, a lot of fights, a lot of overtakes, and a lot of being overtaken. It's been a lot of up and downs here tonight here in Uddevalla for Tyler J, but hopefully, provided he doesn't make any major mistakes, thanks to the commentator's curse, we should be bringing this one home. Up and over the single we go, just before the big old ace moto jump. A little bit of a sideways landing there. Again, at this point, it's not necessarily about pushing that maximum line. It's just about keeping the bike on 2 wheels. You can see he's not really risking it with big scrubs. He's just doing a little flick here and there just to get that flow remaining. Again, you can see just how high he went there, over jumping it. Not looking to scrub it off, not looking to risk it. And over the line we come with an 8-second gap there to P2. Fantastic finish there for Tyler J as he takes P1 here in Uddevalla. Linz then will secure the P2 spot, 8.4 off the leader, but with a fantastic fight to go with it. Hakon then, ooh, has a little bit of a moment there. Has an upsetting last couple of laps there for Hakon, but he did have a hell of a race. We've got Aiden here, of course, up and into P4, having defended his position many, many times throughout this second moto. JV coming back with the birds being 1 centimetre away from each other. Hakon with the overall. Is it Rex? I didn't get to see the first one, of course. I'll have to check out the MXB after the stream. Alright, the rest he is. Then second TJ third. Interesting, interesting. That could be good for Hakon's championship. Of course, Silent J will remain that podium, or the top sitter at the moment. Aiden then P4, Matteo P5. It looks like Jake's going to take the P6 position here, despite Bill Pickle finishing ahead of him on the track. Cam there, still pooing. We've got Tommy Wack here on the ETO Gas. He's going to be finishing up in the P8 position. Get pushed down to P9 though by Dan due to the penalties he's incurred. A fair few bikes then struggling with the track limits on this particular track, potentially just where they crash and rejoin, and that can do it a lot of the time. Eurus then P10, and Kens will take up the P11 position here on at the Ace Moto KTM. A nice run there for himself as well. And Barbosa, comes across the line P20. Kazi's coming across the line in his own style. Will you finish the set before the server dies? Maybe. 1-3 beats 2-2? Definitely does. At least I'm pretty sure he does. Anyways. Here we go. Can Cam wipe his bum in time? Thrilling content, as I'm sure you'll agree. It doesn't look like it. The server has denied him the opportunity to finish tonight's moto, and he will stand on the finish corner, pooing himself. Anyways, in lighter news, Tyler J then in P1, Linz in P2, and Hakon for P3, but apparently it's literally the opposite way around for the overall. I'm being told by the chat here we've got Hakon at P1, Linz P2, and Tyler J P3 for the overall here tonight in Uddevalla, Sweden. So it's been a very, very interesting night of racing, keeping that championship alive, thankfully, and hopefully we can continue to give you more racing content throughout the rest of the season. Look at that beautiful circuit.